Today, I would like to interview Lisa Tomie. She's originally from Brazil and currently she's working and living in Costa Rica. And I met her in 2022 through certain business clubs. And I think she's very, very interesting and really brave to leave her country and work in a completely new country where the language is different. And she's been working as an architect and seeing things to start something really interesting beyond her work itself, for the community improvement. So let's see what we can learn from her.
My name is Lisa Tomie. I am an architect from Brazil. I'm an architect, designer, and urbanist. I grew up in Brazil. My family is a little bit multicultural, so Japanese father, Brazilian mom, with Italian roots. I've been living in Costa Rica for the past 3 years, but I also lived in Argentina. That's where I grew up. That's how I know Spanish. My sister is Argentinian. She was done there. Little information that I think you did have. And we also briefly lived in Miami, and that's where I went back to in 2012 for college as well for 1 year.
Okay, so you moved around different places, right? Brazil, Argentina, Miami, and maybe back to Brazil again. And in terms of your childhood, maybe it was quite different from the typical Brazilians, no? Yes. How were you raised as a child, and how you were raising, how you were raised influenced you?
Oh, I think that the way that I was raised, it shaped me in many ways, not only as a professional, but as a human being. Mm-hmm. And I would say that it gave me all of the opportunities that I have today because it became like a snowball effect. So with my mom being from Brazil, speaking Portuguese at home, and my dad speaking Japanese, completely traditional Japanese, man, and growing up in Argentina, going to bilingual school, so English and Spanish at the same time, Portuguese and Japanese at the same time. It was a lot of stimuli, so lots of information, very overwhelming growing up.
So you speak 4 languages? Do you?
A little bit of Japanese, as you know, but I understand. So the rest, yes.
So you speak Portuguese, Spanish, both of them, and English fluent, and then maybe intermediate Japanese, something like that, or maybe a little bit higher.
Maybe a little bit lower, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, I'm able to survive in Japan. That's what.
Oh, you can survive, no problem. I can guarantee that. That's very interesting. Okay.
So I would say that having like this upbringing and all of this information at home and lots of stimuli, it made me more susceptible to adapt to different cultures and situations and people. And eventually for work, it became like an advantage, right? Mm-hmm. But as a young child, I was very overwhelmed. So I was very shy.
Were you?
Yeah, I mean, I had to think like many times, like what language should I speak in? And
oh my God.
Very lazy. Yeah, so I was very quiet, like around 6 years old.
Oh my God, really?
Mm-hmm. And something you didn't know.
No. This is new to me. If you're trilingual, each time you have to think which language do I need to answer or talk, exactly, depending on who the person is.
And the interesting thing, and people usually ask me this, is I think in English, I dream in English, but of course, Portuguese is my main language, and it's my most natural language. But at the same time, I would say that Spanish is my first language because I started speaking Spanish. We moved to Argentina when I was 2 years old. I don't remember my life before that. I don't remember my life before Argentina. So it's interesting how all languages actually happen at the same time. So it's hard for me to say which one is the one that it's the most natural to me.
So right now, being an adult working professionally and living in different countries, what language do you feel the most natural for you?
It's also interesting or curious thing because English is the most natural to you. Right now, I think it's most natural. But the past year, for some reason, I have been having this urge to switch back to Portuguese. So, for instance, if I'm very tired, let's say after 9, 10 p.m., my brain starts getting lazy, and then I just want to speak Portuguese. And if you understand me, perfect. If you don't, I don't care. Because it's just like going back to what you know the most.
But you work in a Costa Rican firm, right? Absolutely. And what language do you speak there?
Pretty much English. I would say 60%, 70% of the time.
In English, yeah. Here in Costa Rica, most of your clients are what, English-speaking company?
Exactly. So my colleagues, of course, everyone, it's like Spanish speaking, but my projects are usually with teams in the US or in Canada or abroad. Okay. And that's where I had this intense connection with other languages when Spanish becomes like a secondary thing.
Interesting, huh? Yeah, I think in my case, I'm opposite. I'm bilingual in English and Japanese, right? My Spanish is out of 10, maybe it's like 2. Something like that.
But you understand?
No. Well, I do understand some, basic ones. But when it comes to, like, when you're talking with Joe, I pretend that I do understand, right? But then just let go. But most of the time, I speak and sing in English. But now I'm working for a Japanese company, so I have to speak Japanese sometimes to Japanese colleagues and the bosses. And sometimes I just can't. The words don't come out.
Yep.
And then it's so, like in English, when you talk even with your boss, I say, oh yeah, yes. And see, I got it. And then how can I say that in Japanese? I cannot say, so then, to my boss, I can't say that, right? I have to say, go to sleep, something like that. But this kind of polite Japanese, it doesn't come out. And sometimes I even, without knowing, unconsciously, I say, I do that to my boss, and then boss is Japanese, yes. So to him, I think maybe it's very offensive when I say, see, yeah.
And that's your brain just mixing up everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think after leaving, I've been away from Japan for more than half of my life.
Did it say you're more about foreigners than a Japanese?
Expecting English, I think so. I don't know. Anyway, next year I decided to go back after so many years of absence from Japan and see how I would feel it. So I was just wondering because you said, your brain goes back to Portuguese, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And it's funny because I think this has changed in the past year, to be honest, because before I was very comfortable with speaking multiple languages at home, and like even at school, my friends, but for some reason this past year, maybe year and a half, there's a specific time of the day or even a week if I'm too tired or if I'm feeling like kind of sad, homesick maybe, my brain really prefers going back to Portuguese and, I just want to speak what I know. And if you understand it, great. But if you don't, then I don't want to make the effort, and it's just specific moments that it happens, but it's interesting how it changed. It wasn't like this before.
Do you think you're getting old?
I'm getting old.
But I heard, there are people who are bilingual, trilingual, and that's when they reach like 70 something. And then when they get such an Alzheimer or the senile, they go back to their native tongue.
Yep.
And then they forget a second, third language completely. So I was wondering, so how do you define success and failure? I'm not talking about just the professional side in general.
Yeah. I think to me, success has more to do with being happy with what you've accomplished. Mm-hmm. And that not necessarily has to do with professional life, with your career. Mm-hmm. Even if you have the most simple life and you're happy about it, that's like you being successful. Mm-hmm. But in my case specifically, I think it's also being happy about what I'm love, doing what I love, and also bringing joy to the ones that I love as well.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, I think what really matters is being able to do this and share it with the people that you love. Okay, I've gotten to this place in my life. I have this, I have that. Sometimes it's about possessions, sometimes it's about experiences, which to me is more valuable. But being able to share that with people.
Yeah. Can you give me some example?
For instance, I had a 1-year study abroad in Miami when I went back. This was 2012.
Yeah.
And this 1 year to me was equivalent to 10 years of life because of what I grew, and also because of the people that I met. But for my family, that was very important because they got to see how happy I was with what success, with that success. And I think with what you know about my family as well, and multicultural families, if you get to this point in life where you're very successful, but you don't have people to share it with, like your family, like in my case, your family is abroad, or you're working too hard to provide, and you're missing out on birthdays, missing out on weekends with your friends, losing your health. That's not success. That's just you trying to check boxes and maybe get to status. But that's not the definition for success for me, at least.
What kind of goals do you have now?
I think settle for a little, and that goes beyond professional life, but in terms of personal life as well.
Okay.
I feel like I'm always chasing the wheel, trying to improve myself, challenge myself. But at the same time, being away from my family and my friends, it gives me the feeling of, okay, when is the moment to stop? And when is it going to be enough? Right?
Yeah, chasing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially if it's a career.
Exactly.
Never ending, yeah?
Yeah. And in my case, being here in Costa Rica, my life is like very tied to my work because I moved because of my work, right?
Right.
Through my company.
Right.
And it gives me the sense of, okay, so am I doing all of this because of work or because of the life that I'm having? I'm building a life here.
Right.
So I think that's the most beautiful part. Yeah.
So that's part of your success story too, no? Not just the chasing the careers, going up and up or whatever, but also the entire life, including career and your personal life and relationships and things like that. Huh?
Yeah. And meeting interesting people.
Yeah. Okay. How can you keep up your motivation when you set a goal, whether it's professional or personal? I think most people feel at some point, oh no, it's not working, right? There are always reasons, the excuses not to continue. And it has happened to me too. I think what I'm saying is when you are in your doubt of your ability or the prospects or luck or whatever, or when you feel really stressed out, where you feel really you don't have any capacity to pursue your dream,
right?
Yeah. I'm sure something like that happened to you, right?
Yeah.
And then how can you overcome a situation like that? And what has helped you to get out of that? Is that a person or a book or, right, what is it? Can you give me an example?
I would say that the most important thing is purpose. At least for me, it is purpose, is knowing why I'm doing something. And the price that I'm paying for that.
Yeah.
So for instance, I tend to say this very often, even people at work will probably agree with me, that at the end of the day, by being here, for instance, and
here means Costa Rica,
and away from my friends and family.
Yeah.
And if I have a bad day, immediately what you want to do is just go back to your family or call them or grab a beer with your friends, this day was just awful. Why did I wake up today?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why did I move here?
Yeah.
Right.
Then it gives you those doubts as well. Yeah. But it makes you think, what is the purpose behind all of this? What am I getting out of this? Is it worth the price that I'm paying. And in my work specifically, like if I'm doing meaningful work, yes, of course, I'm gonna think about that. Like, yes, it's challenging, but I'm doing like amazing stuff. Not only in my company, but like tiny little things, that do change other people's lives. And in terms of personal life, I'm building a personal life here. I have Costa Rican friends, also international people are my friends as well. So I think that having built and building that like network here is also very meaningful to me, and that gives me the motivation to keep going.
So you are saying what you do is to focus on what you have accomplished, no matter how small it is, instead of focusing on the negative things, or the struggles.
Discipline is very important for that. You have to be very focused. It's hard, of course. There's a couple of days that I just don't want to do anything. Like you said, why did I come here? I have to go back to Brazil.
I better go. Yes.
I want to go home. But I think being disciplined and having friends, like I said, like network,
a support system.
It's very important, because they're going to be the ones telling me, like, don't think about that. Like, you're having a bad day, but look at this and this and this and this that you did. And think about the loved ones. Those loved ones do think that you've accomplished something. So focus more on that than instead of on the negative thing.
The support system and focus on the positive accomplishment, positive things,
And once upon a time, I like sports very much.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
What sports have you done?
Basketball, ironically.
Really?
But in short, but
with your height?
I played basketball. And I also played field hockey. I competed for a little while.
Oh my God. Okay.
But I think that maybe my mentality is similar to, of course, not a real professional athlete, but of someone that competes, because you have to focus like at the end of the line, see the light at the end of the tunnel. And then whatever comes, just do like this. You're not going to think about it. Just look ahead. And that's
the goal-oriented from sports.
I think so. I'm not sure that mentality took me to sports, or maybe I developed this because of sports. I'm not really sure. All I know is
either way, you have to win. That's the purpose.
Because otherwise, the price that I'm paying is too high.
Exactly. Why are you doing it? Okay. Well, that makes sense. So, is there any person who changed your mindset or the way you think about, who influenced you in a large way? Or it could be a person, a book, or some situation, or some event which occurred to you?
I think that my time abroad in 2012, that shifted a little my mentality.
When you went to the U.S.?
When I went to the U.S. to study, because at that time, I was very young and still didn't know much outside of my bubble. I would say. In Brazil, I really lived in a bubble in my neighborhood and like the schools that I went to. But at that time, when I went to the U.S., I got to know people from many different places. International. All of us were like scholarship grantees, and then we were all in different groups. So Japanese people, Indian, lots of Europeans,
Latinos too.
But then my closest friends, of course, were Brazilian, and I remember that we were from very different backgrounds. All of them went to public schools, public high schools, and like the way they thought and how they had to work for what they wanted. Kind of changed my mindset a little of, okay, I have to do this and always be like trying to accomplish more, and I have really to work harder to get where I want to be.
Really? So you're lucky.
And the way that I said it before, that I think that my childhood gave me like the opportunities that I have today, I think it is the reality. Because I think if I didn't have the knowledge that I have in languages, and the opportunity to go to good schools, I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to study in the U.S. And maybe if I didn't study in the U.S. and didn't have the knowledge in languages, maybe I wouldn't be here now.
Right.
So, at the end of the day, my mom was right. She gave me everything.
Yeah. And your father too. Yeah. That's interesting. Well, sure. Okay. So, you're a lucky one. That's what I feel, in terms of your upbringing and the things the opportunities you have had. But I think in this world, maybe in the audience, there are a lot of people who have never had that kind of opportunity, right? In terms of the money, schools, experiences. But I'm sure that each one of us, no matter where we are coming from, we have this desire to be better, yeah, to accomplish something, but they don't know where to start because they never really knew how to get ahead in life. Yeah, maybe they don't have education, they don't have anybody who will help them, right? What advice can you give to these people? Well, to myself included. But where can they start? Well, where can we start?
Yeah. That is a tricky because it really has to do with how goal-oriented someone is at the end.
Goal-oriented, okay.
Yeah, I think that's really what changed me, at least, to kind of develop this sense of kind of survival, almost. Yeah. Maybe because of how I grew up.
Yes.
Is how I developed it. But I always had to prove myself in some way, because like I said in the very beginning, at a very young age, I was very shy, very quiet, wouldn't speak a lot.
How did you accomplish that?
I just had to start. That's the thing. I had to start speaking and not being afraid of doing things. Eventually, it changed naturally. Growing up, it changed naturally. But in the beginning, for instance, I would just stay quiet in a corner, but draw. That's how I became an architect. Because I knew that I really loved drawing.
Really?
Yeah. People would give me Barbies as a gift, and I wouldn't play with the Barbies. I would build Barbie houses in shoe boxes.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think it has to do with trying.
So you overcame your shyness by drawing at the corner, and then people will come to you because you're good at drawing. More and more, they ask you to draw something, and then obviously you have to start explaining what it is and all that kind of thing. But gradually, you started talking and overcoming the shyness.
Maybe, yeah. Because even when I went to a therapist as a kid, 6 years old, maybe 5. The therapy session would be just me sitting down drawing, and then they would analyze my drawings. That was it.
So you were that shy when you were young?
When I was very young, yeah, very, very young.
And really, I can imagine from you now. I mean, but that's amazing.
Yeah, but imagine also that when I was 6 years old, I had this intense information of all of the languages.
Yeah, Portuguese and Spanish, right?
Yeah. And I think
different countries too.
I think that was the overwhelming part, and that's why I just wanted to stay in my own bubble and maybe wait for people to reach out to me instead of me going to them.
That kind of reminds me of, or think about the situation. I teach English, right? When we think about bilingualism, I think what I used to read or learn was kids, if you teach them, or if you put the kid in a bilingual immersion situations, they naturally learn the second, third languages, but maybe not, because we really don't know how they perceive situations in different languages, right? So when you tell me all these things, and I say, oh my God, is that what they have to go through? Yeah. I never had compassion before, but now I do have compassion in uni. Because now she's losing English because, she's back to Costa Rica where she used to speak English and Polish and Spanish, kind of naturally.
Yep.
But now she's all in this one culture.
Yep.
And probably she's confused.
That's exactly what happens.
I never thought that way, you know? So I tell her, because I don't understand Spanish much, so I tell her, you have to speak to me in English. And she said, but I can't because I don't know.
And sometimes it's frustrating because I remember as a kid, my families, well, my uncles and my aunts, whenever we went to Brazil to visit them, they would also be speaking Portuguese and trying to like make me talk. And just out of curiosity, they would do it, you know? But to me, it was overwhelming. So
Really?
I didn't want to speak with them. And then they would just throw me information and like make fun jokes about my accent. But I mean, they were just trying to be nice and like normal family stuff. But as a child, it was very overwhelming to me.
Okay. Of course. And then when you go through something like that, you become very sensitive, right? To different cultures and languages, no?
And eventually she's going to pick one as like the preferred, more natural.
Dominant?
Yeah. And it could change like down the road.
Okay. Okay. Non-stop.
I hope I got to answer your question though.
Yeah, you can. Can you tell me, do you have any dream or future definite goal?
Dream, I think that I maybe would eventually like to live somewhere else, or maybe Japan, like I said, for a short time. I really like going to different places.
Traveling or living?
Traveling and living.
Oh, both.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also, I think it has to do with living in short periods, you know? I wouldn't go, for instance, to Japan to live like, okay, I transferred to Japan forever. I don't think that will work. But I'm very curious, like, okay, how would it be living there for 3 months? You know?
Well, that's traveling.
No. Like living, you know, like
for 3 months?
Yeah, like having work. It's not there like doing touristy stuff. It's like having my work, but 3 to 6 months maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that to Japan or like other places. Maybe like Italy. I don't know.
Italy? You like Italy?
Yeah, I have Italian family as well.
That's right. So maybe you should get Italian passport, no, from your ancestors.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I know. We have a friend who got Italian passport because her great-great-grandfather is from Italy. So she got the passport.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do the same.
Yeah, I could try it. I don't know if the Japanese passport allows it, but I could try it.
Yeah. No, it doesn't matter because your mom, right? Your mom...
She's from Italian family, yeah.
Yeah. And then, since it doesn't matter whatever the passport... No, because it has something to do with the Italian government.
Yeah, because I think I have to reject one of the nationalities if I do get it. I remember something
like just because with the Japanese passport?
Yep.
Okay, forget about it. Or maybe Italian passport is better, no?
Who knows? Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So now you said that you want to have a very... you want to share your experiences and successes and whatever. And to you, the definition of success is to accomplish something which you can share with the people you love. Yeah? So to do that, I think...
But you think of it.
You have to know how to balance out your professional side with your personal life too. And I think most of us struggle. I mean, especially when you're young, you have so much responsibility from your work. And sometimes it's overwhelming, no? And then I think many of us do sacrifice, first of all, family life or personal life, right? Yeah. We take, especially if you take your professional work very seriously, and if you want to go ahead and, go up the ladder, that's what's expected, I think. It is still the same, it's expected. So in your case, how do you deal with that? You seem to be adding more and more projects. Right?
Yeah. My boyfriend actually says the same thing. Like, okay, I can't do nothing. Let's add something else. I just can't stay still. But I think it drives me in the sense of being productive. I like being productive, you know?
Yeah.
But when I said that one of my dreams is also to settle, is because I like the idea of maybe changing my mind a little, you know, like that it's okay to slow down, that it's okay to not have 5 different projects at the same time, like projects, not work, but in life as well. Like I like doing crafts and drawing and all of that. And eventually I think, well, maybe this could be like a second side hustle. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then my boyfriend and my friends say, but what about doing it just because you want to relax, you know, like, that's it.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to find that balance, doing things just because I enjoy doing them. And that if I want to do nothing on a Saturday morning, then I will do nothing on a Saturday morning. But it's like a mind shift because I wasn't raised like that. I'm not used to that. And especially in São Paulo, I come from São Paulo in Brazil. We tend to think that we are Latin America's New York.
Really?
People in São Paulo, and maybe some people from São Paulo are going to be like, no, that's not true. But yeah, we have a very fast pace. And
really,
that's what happened to me in the beginning in Costa Rica. I used to think, well, people in Costa Rica are maybe in a very different pace from what I'm used to. So do I have to adjust to them, or maybe do they need to like step it up? Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's like how things are in Costa Rica and how things are in Brazil. And you can never generalize. You can never say like all of the Brazilians are like this. All of people in São Paulo are like this. But yeah, I feel like trying to find like a place to slow down and say no to things. Yeah. That's important.
So over there, you have to be really productive all the time. Just go. Yeah. Get it, huh? Well, here, it's hasta mañana. Pura vida. Pura vida. And, I had it, I mean, now I understand, in my own opinion, pura vida means,
Good.
or whatever.
Yeah, it could be everything.
It could be everything, whatever. If I like it, pura vida. If I don't like it, pura vida.
But at the same time, are they not right, though? Like, are Costa Ricans not right? Also, it's like slowing down. You're like, chill, like
a perezoso. The namakemono in Japanese, right? I used to feel really frustrated about pura vida. What does that mean? I mean, I felt to them, pura vida means, okay, I don't do that. I don't want to do it. Pura vida.
Yeah.
But then I felt, but you have to do it. You should do it, right?
No, and I remember this situation. A friend of mine at work, our director asked her to print something, just print. And we were on a meeting like minutes before that.
Yeah.
And we were almost doing it. I could see her screen and we were almost doing it. But then 30 minutes later, she didn't have this thing printed. And then I called her and said, like, what is happening? He's texting me and he wants the stuff printed. Like, what is it taking so long? And she's like, chill. Great. And I'm like, why? Like, I could see her screen. It's just like, press print. Okay, go.
That's it.
Yeah. But at the same time, do we need really to have it done like, 2 minutes? Like, can you stand up and go to the bathroom at least?
5 minutes before you are even asked, you have to do it. That's the Japanese way, right?
Yeah.
American way, maybe you do it at the same time, yeah? And the Costa Rican, you tell you why you cannot do it because you're taking a tip.
Yeah.
That's more important.
Maybe I think there has to be a balance. Like, the director asking it, like, okay, I want it in 2 minutes. He is also wrong because why do you need it in 2 minutes?
Right.
But then also my friend, like, doing zoom in, zoom out in 30 minutes. She probably was also wrong. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because I think in and out of that kind of pace, professionally, and at my age, when I was young, I was always there 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before, that was normal, right? And now coming to Latin American country called Costa Rica, and the Pura Vida country, and perezoso, namakemono. What do you say, namakemono in English? That
Stuff.
fluff. Yeah, fluff. And look at fluff. But you know what? Sloth. I went to zoos to really see sloth. And in my Athena's home, there was sloth visiting me up on the tree. Yeah. And I watched. When he's not eating, or when he cannot find food, he's very quiet and lazy. He does nothing. He doesn't move anything. Well, anyway. But when he finds a food, he's very sad. Yeah, I was shocked.
And sloths are very strong too.
Are they?
Yeah. They can just come and do this like very fast.
Yeah.
Yep. Protect yourself.
I thought, oh my gosh, that's Costa Rica. When they need something, they do it. And then when they don't have to do it, why bother? It has nothing to do with me. And I thought, that's very good. Why bother? Yeah. And so now, at my age, I feel I don't have to work. And like sloth, if I find something interesting, which is like this podcast, I would do it. Yeah, it's fun. It gives me joy and smile. Yeah, and then meet interesting people like you. So why not? And so I think finally, after being here for 17 years in Costa Rica, I'm learning how to really balance out. In my case, it's not the personal and job. It's balance between this go, get it.
Exactly.
To how can I enjoy my life more?
Yeah, and
for meaning.
It's amazing that you say it because it's how I feel. Like me in my first year in Costa Rica, I was completely different. Yep. Yeah. Like, why is someone taking 15 minutes to bring me coffee in a Starbucks that has 2 people sitting? Like 2 people. And that's a true story.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was very upset. Like, why are you taking so long? Can I go grab it myself? I'll do it myself. But at the same time, man, why do I need it so fast as well? Like, why do you need it like this, right? But yeah, there has to be like a midpoint. And I feel like today, like 3 years later, I did change how to slow down. I changed my perspective a little.
So, but for you, when you slow down, do you feel happier?
I feel because before, in terms of like the balance in my life, I think that my professional life was much more important than my personal life. And today, also being much older, my personal life is very important, especially by being in a new country and needing a support system. Right, exactly. Because like I said in the beginning, if I don't have anyone to share my success with, I'm not really being successful.
No,
I'm being just alone in a new country with titles.
And very lonely too.
Yeah, exactly. So today I really prioritize having time to meet new people. Even if someone thinks that what's the purpose of meeting someone on like the business group that we met, what's the purpose of it? And to me, it's very important. Yeah, because you're actually extending your network. You're creating your own circle there.
Yeah. That's true. That's a more fun way to live, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you cannot share with someone, what's the purpose of living, no? Yeah, in this world. So that's very good. So at the end of this interview, is there anything you want to share with the audience who we don't know, but we hope that we can really. But we can imagine that they're here, talking with us. Is there anything? And I suppose that they want to they want to put the first step in their future life, which seems to be more brighter. Yeah, it seems to be brighter, but they just don't know where to start, where and how. The first step. Is there any advice you can give them?
I think. And that's also the advice that I would give myself if I was younger, me talking to my younger self.
Yes.
Just go ahead and try it. Because I was really trying to find the perfect moment to be perfect, especially because I wanted to leave Brazil and I wanted to be in a different country. My brain was really telling me, like, you have to be the best of the best. You have to study a lot. You have to improve your resume, do this and that. But then at the end of the day, like I missed on a bunch of opportunities because I was kind of scared and trying to do the perfect thing. And then even my family would tell me, just go ahead and do it because you're not going to find the perfect moment and you're not going to be perfect at any point. So for people, I think that are trying to start somewhere is like explore, you know? I know people that really have like tried different careers and my sister, for instance, she is from the TV industry, behind the scenes, but she's a producer.
Yeah.
And she eventually moved to like a city similar to Santa Teresa here in Costa Rica, or to a state very similar to Costa Rica in general. And her mindset also shifted, and now she's doing different things, like not only focused in like the TV industry. So like just stepping outside, you know, and exploring. But I think what really matters is knowing why you're doing, like what drives you. You know, why do you want to do this? Is it because you want to have a better life? You dream of a better life. You dream to give a better life to your friends or family, or you just want like to check boxes. It's okay if people do it because of that. Yeah, like it's not judgment or anything. But I think those two things are very important. Why you're doing something, just like you said, like why bother? At the end of the day, that's what you have to ask. Why bother? Because I want this. Because I want a better life. Because I want to learn more. Because I want to live in a different country. Whatever the reason, but just find the reason and then try it. Not being worried about like, am I doing it right or wrong?
I think most of us, though, you know, I mean, when we are young, like that age, you know, my granddaughter's age, I don't remember how I was, but I think most of us believe, you know, the adults around us, parents, teachers, whoever, we think what they're saying is true, you know, or the correct, right? But as we grow and have different experiences, we learn, wait a minute, maybe they are wrong. But it is very difficult, and we don't want to hurt them, you know, especially the loved one, families, and, you know, especially parents and all that. So we pretend, you know, to believe what they told us, right? But then I think, like you said, when we step out of this lukewarm place, which is not necessarily what we want, or which doesn't necessarily serve us anymore, because we as kids have to live in the future world compared to the, you know, our parents and ancestors. Unless we step out of that lukewarm pond, we would never experience anything.
Yeah.
And if we don't experience anything new, which may be exciting or maybe painful, depending.
Yeah.
But still, we don't learn anything.
Exactly. You're not going to learn anything if you haven't seen anything. And the only way to see something is just go outside of your little box. And even if you mess up, you're going to learn because you messed up. Right. And if you don't do it, you have anything to compare to. So
exactly,
you're king of nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah. So it's a little courage to step out.
Yeah.
At the end. And I think when we step out, I think most of us cannot step out because we are so afraid of, especially, you know, being Japanese, especially, they feel what they think, what they imagine, what the other people think of us.
Yeah.
Do you have that fear? Because, you know, your father is Japanese. Did you inherit anything like that?
I think so. I think there was immediate reaction or assumption from people that because I am half Japanese, I have to be a certain way. And in some boxes, I think I do tick them. I do check them.
Yeah.
I feel like my social being is very Latin, very Brazilian.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
I haven't seen that part yet. So we shall see from now on, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Lisa, getting to know other people, I think that's my Brazilian side because I am more extroverted. But then my intellectual side, my professional side is I feel like it's more Japanese because I like things in a certain way.
And structured and more organized.
Yeah, that thing.
Professional.
Ahorita, I'm real. I'm trying to adapt to the ahorita, but no. But yeah, it was challenging because Japanese, like the way that they really raise, it's very different, very structured. And I think I had to step out of that box, that notion, to kind of grow in the world, you know, like adapt to different people, adapt to different cultures. Work with Brazilians is not the same thing as working with Costa Rican.
Is that right?
Yep.
But you guys are Latin, though.
Yeah. But maybe because I'm from São Paulo and that's different. But working with the U.S. is much different with working with Costa Rican. Yeah.
For the that's interesting, eh? Well, is there anything else you want to share with the audience? Question to me? Or?
Yeah. What drives you? I think
Me? Oh my God.
Because we're in a different moment of our lives, right?
Yes. You know, I have done all this so-called career thing up until now. And, you know, I'm in a free state, you know, independent free state at this time. But all my life, what drove me, I don't know why and how it came. Ever since I was a child, young one, the word freedom and love. Love and freedom, that's the order. Love and freedom and beauty drove me, and it still drives me. And so all these three things cannot exist without one element, without each other. So it applies to job, it applies to relationships, it applies to the environment where I live. So it seems like I'm always looking for this quality in my life. I think that's one of the reasons why I've been moving. You know, I was born in Japan, and then I went to school in Japan and worked in Japan, then moved to the US and went to school and worked there, and then went back to Japan, and then back to the US again after getting married and have kids. And then after, at the age of 56, I got so tired of this fast pace, you know, working not by the minute, by the second, because I was an interpreter, so every minute counts.
Yeah.
I was exhausted doing that for the last 30 years. And like, you know, you ask yourself, what am I doing here? What is the purpose of reacting all the time? You know, yes, I could take 2 weeks vacation, but then still my mind wasn't really completely restful. And so at that time I felt I have to change. And usually when I move from one country to another, I don't keep the bridge open. I cut it. Okay? Because if I have the bridge to go back, you're going to try, then I will think about it. And I don't want to think about it. I have to jump off the cliff. And then if I die, that's good. Well, not good, but you know what I mean? If it's just, that's my mentality. No, what do you call that? That's my destiny. That's how I took it always. So at the age of 56, when my son was 13, 14, around that time, I said, it's just one event happened to me was when he was 12, 13, I was like traveling all over from North Carolina, the US, to Japan. I was traveling every month, and the duration in Japan was anywhere between 7 days to 14 days. Every month I did it for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, money was good. And so I left my husband and my son there at home. And my son, one day, I was packing to go to Japan, and my son said, Mom, he was, I think, 12, 13. He wasn't a talkative guy or a person. He's more into books and games. And he said, do you have to go? And I said, you know, this is my profession. When I said to my client, I go, then I go. I have to go. And I said, he never said that before. He had never said that before. And it just dawned on me. I said to him, why do you ask me that question? He said, well, that's okay. But most of my friends' mothers stay at home every day. Even if they work, they come home by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And you never are at home. And it really stubbed me.
Yeah.
Until then, I had never thought about it because, I was the breadwinner. By then my husband was retired and I was the breadwinner. We had certain lifestyle, 2 cars and all that kind of thing. And it really bothered me. And so I said to him, I have to go this time. And then when I got to Tokyo, my client, they are American law firm. I said to the president, the chairman, who wouldn't go there unless I went with him.
Oh, okay.
That's why I kept doing it, because of the complete trust by him. Even though I said, I can find some local one, he wouldn't budge. But I told him, because he knew my family, and I said, this is what my son said to me. And he's 13.
Oh, so you mentioned it to them?
Yeah, to the to the chairman of in Tokyo. Yeah, because we often met in Tokyo, And he knew my son and my husband, and he really appreciated their cooperation, And I said, I have to quit this time because my son said this. If I do not quit, if I continue doing this, I think I will lose my son. And to me, this is a time for me to choose what's important for me. And I know, I can guarantee that I will find better interpreters than I am. They may not be me, but they can do a professional job as an interpreter. Yeah, much better than me. But I was good at, now I can say, I was very good at being a senior sitter.
Okay.
In Japanese, zizi sitter. I call that. The middle-aged guy to senior guy, babysitter. Because I knew how to take care of them. I knew how to get what they need, and I knew how to make them feel that they're much better than who they are, because I interpret that way. And then he understood. So I said, let me be your agent, interpreter agent, and I will send the right kind of interpreters each time when you go to Japan, and I will stay at home. Yeah. And then he agreed. So that's motivation, that love, freedom, and beauty. And in this case, freedom means I choose how I feel.
To control, yeah.
Yeah. Nobody else will control my mood, emotions, and how I think. Yeah. So that's the freedom. That's my definition of freedom. It's not that I can do whatever I want at any cost to anybody else. No, it's not that. And the beauty can be, physical beauty. And also, to me, seeing some people being in love with, or treating other people really kindly, or helping when someone needs desperate help. Yeah. To me, that's beauty. Yeah. So those 3 things motivates me and drives me.
Yeah, that's thank you for asking. That's good to know as well from you. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for this time and the interview. I really enjoyed you.
You too. I hope this was inspiring for other people in some way and was able to help other professionals to try to do the same thing.
Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you, which I didn't, was, not only you're working full-time as an architect, but you are doing certain project, some kind of new project, new concept. with the government here in Costa Rica.
Yeah, I mean, it's not directly,
But still, new ideas you're trying to implement.
Yeah, I mean, with a couple of friends, what we're doing is we talk about urban interventions and how, for instance, here in San Jose, we don't have public spaces where you can actually just go and chill and meet people. You know, like every public space here in Costa Rica, it's not really public. It's like go into a mall and you have to spend money. You have to either buy a beer or purchase something or just buy a coffee. But sometimes, coming from big cities like us, you just want to go to the park to read something, or even if it's not in the park, you're on your way home from your commute, you want to stop somewhere and
Hang out.
just hang there, you know, like call your friends.
Yeah.
And we feel like that is missing. So these friends and I, we have this project that it's pretty much to propose urban interventions as parklets, which is
Parklet.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's pretty much taking up the spaces from parking where your car is sitting doing nothing, and probably like people should be taking buses in a ideal world, you know, like, or not driving too much, changing the schedules.
Yeah.
But the idea would be like to take up those spaces that are parking and use them as a little park. And so, for instance, you would have like urban furniture or just like a little
Chairs and tables, you mean?
chairs and tables, or just like grass over there. But it's not like a car sitting there doing nothing for most of the day, and you have to go somewhere else to do the same activity that you could do there. So it's baby steps, but we are trying to find a way to make it like a more common thing, and like tell people about it, you know, for people to understand what it is about and really why we want to do it.
That's interesting, eh?
Yeah.
It's a new concept, isn't it?
Yeah. Here in Costa Rica, for sure.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Thank you
Thank
for
you so
sharing
much.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.